it's a very funny movie, and it's a movie. I was thinking when they went to you with this part, what made you say yes? Because you don't really have to do these tiny things.
Well, I thought it would be really fun. I'm a big fan of Simon and Nick's, and in fact of everyone involved, including the very handsome gentleman next to me. I have to say I've never kind of sort of alluded to something else I was in, which felt a little strange for a second, but I knew that I'd be in very good hands with Greg Mottola and with Simon and Nick because there's such love and reverence for science fiction, and I fell in love with the script.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it had so much heart and wit, and I just love, to me, my favorite movie people are the fans at Comic-Con, and to me this was a love letter to them, the whole movie.
They've been massive fans of you specifically for decades.
They're why I'm here talking to you today.
Yeah. Is it an enjoyable experience, that the whole Comic-Con thing? Is it, because for me it's a bit weird, all that, but that geek fantasy world.
Yes. Well, I loved it. I would like to be a geek and go as a normal person. We're kept aside. We're kept aloof a little bit. We're kept in a cage, let out when we have to be, perform.
Yeah.
Have you ever been and performed there at Comic-Con?
I've been there a couple of times for projects. It's nice. It's nice to see so many people so enthusiastic about movies and the people that make them. They're a nice core engine to our box office. It's a good thing that keeps going down there in San Diego.
Exactly. The idea of a road trip, that vast American countryside. Have you ever done that yourself, and what were your experiences on that?
I took a trip with a friend in a motorhome to a bunch of ski resorts that almost matched the same loop that these guys do in this movie, and it's pretty fun. You can get into quite a bit of trouble. Fortunately, we didn't see any aliens, but there were some challenging people up in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean with challenging?
Well, it's just there's many colorful people on the west side of the United States, and it made for an exciting trip.
Okay, are you now alluding to what is also in the film, that cliche of that we as Europeans sometimes have of Americans, gun-toting religious fanatics?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people might be offended by that whole thing?
Well, there are plenty of religious fanatics who aren't toting guns, and plenty of gun-toters who aren't religious.
Exactly.
We do have a lot of both in America. I guess putting them together is rather scary. Although I found the character very touching in the movie. He's, I think it's very well done, and I'd be shocked that anyone would take offense, because it's a very human story, and everyone gets made fun of, sort of.
Or if people do get offended, it might be good for us. Get some extra press.
Okay,
so
like
all
that.
he cares about.
Shaun of the Dead and the other movies that these guys made, were there things that you were a fan of before?
Yeah, I loved Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. Their show Spaced was fantastic. So and I know Sigourney was a big fan of theirs too, and those projects. So we were, I'm sure, if I can speak for her, that we were both thrilled to get the call for this and to be a part of such a great group.
Were you impressed with the lady sitting next to you when you met her, when you started working with her?
Of course, yeah. I mean, and in any film, it would be great to be with her. But when you're doing something that is in this genre that she so helped to build, it's very nice to have her presence there to sort of validate the project. I hope they gave you extra money for that.
No, but I'm hoping if the film does well, they will.
Oh, you got a big piece of back end? I was told favored nation.
I'm glad. He's giving me too much credit, but anyway, I was a huge fan of Jason's too, and it was fun to try to be his boss.
Okay. Ever since Alien, let's say, up until Avatar and now this, you've often been cast as a very tough chick, let's say. Was that always the idea when you started your career, to have that kind of career?
It's kind of ludicrous because I'm such a wuss. I scream when I see a spider, and my husband could tell you tales. I am the most unthreatening person on the face of the planet, and I don't know where I find the wherewithal to play these rather intimidating women. They terrify me. They're very sure of themselves. So I don't know. I've lucked out. I find them very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing people who are obsessed with things. I think it's interesting whether I was a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my parts are men's parts, and so I don't know. I've gotten into this, but I'm a total little sweet little creature.
It's indicative of her talent. She can
Exactly.
do the opposite, same.
Exactly. But do you feel that you now balance it out through all those decades with enough dramatic Shakespearean parts, let's say?
Well, I've been very fortunate to play a lot of different things and to be able to go back and forth. I haven't done perhaps as much theater. I'd like to do some Ibsen and some stuff like that. But I also am always drawn to new work. I always love new plays more than old plays. So, do you do theater?
I'd like to. It's you have to commit a long time out. And
Not necessarily.
No?
No, not necessarily. Not at our theater.
Really?
We run the Flea Theater in New York. People from Belgium, please come down, and Hong Kong. And if you want to do Hamlet, we're your place. You could do it for 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
You heard the invite, right? Gonna need a copy of this tape.
Yeah.
I will gladly hand it over.
Okay.
You'd
Thank
be
you
a
so
very
much,
funny
guys.
Hamlet.
Congratulations.
Thank you.